Hello, and welcome back to the first episode of the Studio I podcast in 2023. It is January 1st. It is my favorite day of the year, and today I want to talk to you all about my goals and my vision and habits that I want to implement this year. So every year I choose a theme for that year, and this year the theme that I chose was balance. And I always accompany that with a little quote, and the quote that inspired me this year was, "Balancing on a rope requires skill, steady feet, a steady mind, and a sense of weight control." As you can see, the act of balancing consists of several things. Some of these things may be small, but at the same time necessary to put the act together. And this quote really put into perspective for me how difficult it actually is to obtain balance, and that certain things might be more important at a certain time to still achieve that balance. So it's not a one thing or no thing. It's really something of all kinds of factors that play together, and that really resonated with my intention for this year. So this year I really want to focus on balance between work and life, balance between saving and enjoying life, balance between health and indulgence, and balance between me time and socializing and making more friends. With that, I also set the intention of letting go of surviving mode, and I really want to go in living my life. I feel like in the last couple of years, I've put all of my energy into surviving, into getting better, and really working on my future. And that is great, and it got me where I am today. And I will always be a future-minded person. It is something that I can't really change about myself. I really want to stand still a little bit more this year. I really would want to put in the time to stop, take it in, and create memories that I will remember for the years to come. And I really want to savor those in the moment times, because when I look back on this year, I have achieved a lot, but I don't think I made a lot of memories, and that made me quite sad. So that is a general intention that I want to set for the year. General intentions are great, and I think that if you struggle with goal setting and habits, that just describing a feeling and an intention for the year might be a really good starting point. But if you're more like a type A person like myself, you might want to set some goals as well. And each and every year I set myself 3 to 5 main goals, and then a lot of smaller goals that tie into that or just complement the big goals that I set. If you are new to goal setting, you might prefer one or the other. You might prefer to set 3 big goals, or you might prefer to start with small little goals to build up that momentum. Now, I do both because I am hardcore and I always do too much. So my first big goal is going full time with Studio I. I want to take this company, because it is already a company, and I really want to take this company somewhere. I haven't entirely decided whether that is only the Studio I coaching side or also the Studio I marketing side, because that's something that you guys don't know yet. But there's 2 parts to the Studio I company. We have Studio I coaching and Studio I marketing. The marketing side being all the freelance work that I do for others. And I think it might be really cool to build that out as a little bit more of an agency as well. But I personally want to invest most of my time into creating content, into really making this channel and coaching programs and products my main form of income and my main work. But I'm not entirely sure yet where I want to go, but I know that I want to let go of the freelance work by the end of this year. It has always been a stepping stone into becoming self-employed, and right now I am self-employed as a freelancer, but I want to turn that more into a business owner and to really running Studio I as a business instead of just taking on jobs on the freelance side and then doing YouTube on the side. I really want to make this YouTube and coaching thing the main focus of the year. For that, going full-time with Studio I, you can see that that this is a really big goal that still needs to be broken down into quarters and into monthly goals that really make this possible. And I have done that. And if you want to see how I completely broke all of that down, just let me know in the comments if you're on YouTube, or send me a DM or whatever. If you're listening to this on Spotify, I'm more than happy to make that, but I don't know whether that would be interesting for you guys to see. But so that is big goal number 1. Big goal number 2 is to save 20k this year. It is a lot of money, but me and my boyfriend, we are looking into buying a house in the near future, like not next year, probably the year after or the year after that. But you do need obviously a lot of savings for that. And this is the year where I really want to put money aside, so it will be easier to make that happen in the future. It's way easier if I just start saving now and I do it a little slower every year until we buy the house than in the last year before we buy that house that I have to cut back on everything. And I just want to feel more financially secure, and I think that a nice saving account will provide that for me as well. Besides that 20k, I also want to put up an emergency fund and maybe a fun expenses fund as well, but those aren't as important. It's really that 20k that I want to see on my main savings account this year. And then my last big goal number 3, is running 10k. And that might not seem like a big deal because some people do that in a couple of months, but I have some knee injuries, which means that I have to take it slow. So right now I am at 5k, and during this year, I really want to build up to 10k. So in the first 3 months of the year, I want to focus on really getting comfortable with that 5k, building it up to 7.5, then getting comfortable with that, and then building it up to a 10k. And that is each like a 3-month program in the running app that I have. So that makes, if I stick to that plan, that makes that I can then by the end of the year run a 10k. And if along the way I can already do some races, like for example a 5k or a 7.5k, that would be awesome. And if I can move quicker through the process of getting to that 10k, I won't stop myself. If I meet this goal in the middle of the year, I'm gonna be fine, but I really want to commit to running this year. So those were my 3 big goals, the things that I want to put the most amount of energy towards. That's also something why I call them my big goals. They are the goals that will take up the most energy, that will always be on my goal board for the month. And it's something that some of my small goals complement this, will help when realizing this. But if I reach these 3 goals, I would consider my year a success. All of the other goals that I have, like the small goals on the side or other things, they're a nice extra and a nice bonus, and I still really want to strive to complete all of them, but those are really the most important goals. Together with, and maybe I should add that as a 4th big goal actually, and that is building a new friend group after we have moved, because I'm moving back to a city where I basically don't know anyone. Yeah, so let's make that my big goal number 4. Let's say to make 3 new really good friends this year, and to add 10 acquaintances or regular friends to that. So people that we can invite for a drink, but not the people that you would necessarily host a sleepover with, if you understand the difference there. So yeah, 4 big goals: going full-time with Studio I, saving 20k, running 10k, and making 3 new really good friends and 10 acquaintances. But then let's move on to my smaller goals, which is the majority of the goals that I write down, but some of them are just really small, as you'll see. And I have broken them down into categories. So we have travel, we have work, we have hobbies, and we have health and lifestyle. So let's start with travel goals. I want to travel a lot this year, or I hope that I can achieve to travel a lot this year. From further trips to just weekends away. But I think, like I said, I want to create more memorable moments. And travel always seems to be something that helps me create those. I still think on a weekly basis to trips that I had in the past. Really prioritizing travel again seems like a good strategy for creating more of those living in the moment memories. And I listed some destinations that I really want to go to, but anything else, I'll take it. But these are really on my, let's say, bucket list for this year. So I want to go to New York City. It's the big trip of the year. New York City, Copenhagen, Paris and Amsterdam are fine for a weekend, like a weekend in Paris and a weekend in Amsterdam. I want to go to London. I want to go to Copenhagen. I think I already said Copenhagen. And I would love to go to the south of France as well. And I would love to go and stay in a little cabin in the woods somewhere, like in Belgium, like a staycation. Now, will I do all of this? I hope so. I don't think so, but I really want to try. So here's where the saving and living my life balance comes in, because combining all that travel with saving a lot of money is gonna be quite hard, but okay. And then we have work goals. And this is where it gets a bit complementary to that going full-time with Studio I. And the first work goal that I set might be really, really ambitious, but it is 50K on YouTube. I am at 1,500 subscribers right now, so I still have a long way to go. But I feel like 50K would be enough to make a career out of this. So that is why I put 50K down. I know that is incredibly ambitious, but it is a goal, and I'm going to put all of my work into trying to make that happen. And with that, I also want 1,000 subscribers on the podcast. I have this podcast on Spotify itself. So yes, people will see it on YouTube as well, but I really want to focus on also getting traction to the podcast, and that might be separate people from the people that I have on YouTube. This podcast is a passion project. I'm not necessarily looking to get it monetized or put ads on the podcast, because I personally really don't like listening to ads on the podcast, but I do really want to build it out because I love making it, and it would be lovely if I have more people listening to it. I also want to get my first paycheck from YouTube. Kind of important if I want to go full time, so I want to make that happen, and preferably as soon as possible. I want to master Final Cut Pro, so I edit on Final Cut Pro, and I really want to get good at it. I really want to be able to give the videos the look and feel that I want them to have, because right now I know what type of content I want to create, but my skill set isn't fully equipped to making those types of videos. So I really want to focus on learning Final Cut Pro, and no better way to do that than posting a lot. It is one of my major tools that I want to learn this year. I also want to learn how to use Photoshop and InDesign this year. I know the basics of both, but I want to get good at it. I want to do my first brand collab on YouTube, preferably with something like Notion, because I love Notion and I use it all the time. So that would be a dream collab, but I just put down a collab because let's start with some realistic goals. My first collab won't be Notion, that's for sure. And then some more easy to accomplish. I want to buy an iMac because that seems great for editing. I want to buy an iPad Pro because I want to be able to make the doodles on my videos and things like that. So I really want to use that. I want to create more products for the Studio I webshop. Right now, I only have my workbook, the Dream Life workbook, that I will link down below if it's something that you're interested in. But I want to develop more products to sell. I want to host my first coaching program. It is planned for March, but now I still need people to enter for the coaching program, and more info on that will follow soon. I want to host a live stream. I want to host live streams, plan with me, goal set with me, things like that. I really want to host a live stream this year. And I never want to miss an upload. I am aiming to upload 3 times a week. Once on Monday with the podcast, a Wednesday video, and a Friday video. I might change that posting schedule throughout the year for whatever fits me better, but I don't want to miss an upload. If it's scheduled, I want it to go online. And then let's move on to some more fun things. So hobbies. I have quite some hobbies goals because I want to create more this year. I want to consume less, create more. And the first thing is that I want to learn how to sew. I want to learn how to sew and I want to learn how to knit. And I really want to try to make some of my own clothes. So I want to make a garment. I want to knit a whole sweater preferably. So that will take some time to learn, but I am really, really excited to take classes, for example. I really want to go to a sewing class. I think that will also help with making friends and having more creative free time. I also want to learn how to ski, which hopefully will happen in a couple of weeks. I want to learn how to play tennis and I want to get good at yoga. So I preferably want to take classes for yoga and tennis, but we'll see if I have the time to do both. I also want to learn pottery. So I have a little bit too much of creative hobbies on here, but hopefully if this YouTube thing starts taking off, I can create a little bit more free time for myself and I can actually invest some of that time into learning new creative hobbies. I also want to listen to 40 audiobooks this year. Last year, 2022, I had put a goal of reading 45 books. This year, I specifically put a goal on 40 books and the majority of it audiobooks. If I want to read a physical book, that's fine, but I love listening to audiobooks while I clean, while I run, and while I'm commuting. So I think that just committing to listening to audiobooks will be easier than also still trying to make time for actual reading. And it's a bit of a random one, it's in here, but I could also put it with health and lifestyle. But I want to connect with my inner self even more. So I want to spend time on journaling, meditating, still going to therapy, things like that. And then my last category of goals is health and lifestyle. Lifestyle because there's also some space goals in there. So the first thing being, I want to finish decorating our new apartment. I wanted to have it decorated as soon as we moved in and have all the furniture ready. I had to come to accept that that's not gonna happen, but I still want to make it a homey space and a space that I can really, really feel good in, that's filled with people and laughter when we invite people over, a place where it feels homey, that works for us, where I have my own studio finally, but I really want to have that finished to a point where I feel good by the end of the year, preferably somewhere in the half of the year, but realistically by the end of the year. And it's never going to be finished. There will always be parts of it that will be changing, but I want it to feel complete. I want it to feel like the space that I have imagined in my head. I also want to get 10 new tattoos this year, which is a lot, I know that, but I think it will be really fun. I love tattoos, but I never want to spend the money on them. So instead of buying a lot of clothes this year, I really want to invest in tattoos and experiences. With that, also no more fast fashion. A max of 2 fast fashion and then good fast fashion, like not H&M or Shein, but & Other Stories or Massimo Dutti, like better, or Arket, better quality fast fashion pieces, but a max of 2 a month. And I really want to commit to thrifting all of the rest of my wardrobe. And I also want to create the perfect wardrobe. I want to create a wardrobe that feels good to me, where every single piece feels like, wow, I love to wear this, and is comfortable, because I am done with uncomfortable clothes. I also want to lose some weight this year. I am by no means overweight, but I think that I have some weight to lose, and I feel beautiful in my skin as I am now. But I think health-wise and just energy-wise, it would be good for me to lose around 5 kilograms. So I put that on there, but if that doesn't happen because, for example, I start building muscle by doing more exercise, that's fine. But I just want to feel a bit more fit and healthy in my body and lose a bit of fat percentage. So those were all my goals, things that I can achieve this year. But I also have some habits that I want to implement, and I always separate those because habits are really something that you just have to do every single day, and goals require more of a commitment, and you really have to break them down and plan them in. And habits you can just start doing. And I don't advise to start doing all of those habits at once. Start by implementing 1 to 5 every single month and then build up. And then by the end of the year, you're going to have 60 new habits, which will probably lead to a very different looking life than the one that you have today. But if you implement all 60 habits at once, you're never going to stick to it because you're going to get overwhelmed and burnt out. So slow and steady building. And some of these habits tie to the goals that I had already set. The first one doesn't tie in, but I want to try to invest 200 euros every single month. And that may be into stocks, but also into my retirement funds, things like that. But in putting money aside, except for this month, because I am broke as hell. I also want to get organized. And I want to do that through some different habits. My daily, weekly, and monthly planning routines, I have put them out, and I really want to reset every single week, every single month, and then obtain a daily structural start and stop routine. So I just keep more organized overall. I want to film content all the time. I want to have my camera and take pictures and take videos. So I always have content and b-roll and things to post on Instagram and TikTok, so that I only have to put them together, so that I don't have to create fake moments all the time, but to just make it a habit to whack my camera out and film if there's something worthy of filming. Even if it's as simple as beautiful morning light or reflection or rain in a puddle. And I've already been trying to do that in the last week, and for the moment I am loving it. So let's hope that this habit sticks. I want to have 1 day free of work, totally free of work, every single week. And this is hard for me because I love working. I love YouTube, I love my freelance work, I love it all, but I really need more rest. So 1 day free of working every single week. And I want to upload daily on social media. So 3 times a week on YouTube and a daily upload on TikTok or Instagram. I don't care where it is, but I want to have an upload a day. I want to build up to running 4 times a week. I'm going to start with 3, but I eventually want to build up to 4. I also want to start eating healthy. I have to define a little bit more what that means for me, but for now I want to start experimenting and exploring with a curiosity mindset to what kind of healthy recipes I actually enjoy and that don't feel like depriving myself of all the delicious foods. So in the first couple of months, I really want to focus on exploring and then implementing really healthy eating habits. And lastly, I want to have more fun this year. And that fun I want to implement through a couple of habits. Being weekly date nights, weekly coffee or study dates with my best friend Flo once I have moved, because then we will live in the same city and I think it will be a lot easier to connect with her and to have more time with her, because now we don't see nearly enough of each other. So I really want to commit to that. And then eventually, if I make some more friends, we can throw on some coffee days and co-working days with them as well. And I want to host monthly dinner parties. Because I love cooking and I love a good dinner party, why not host them myself? So I really want to commit to a monthly dinner party and invite different people. So sometimes my parents, sometimes my boyfriend's parents, friends from where I live now, friends from the new city, or sometimes bring all of them together, but I think it's just going to be really fun. So I really want to commit to monthly dinner parties. And those were all my habits and my goals for 2023. It's a lot, I know, but it is the type of person that I am. I really enjoy goal setting and it really gives intention and purpose to my life. And this is how I create the life that I want for myself. But this year, I feel like I took a little bit of a healthier approach, and it's really on focused on creating a wholesome and healthy life instead of just building more. And I just wanted to wrap up this episode with my focus for the first quarter, because it's a lot of goals, but that doesn't mean that I start all of those goals in the beginning of the year. So for the first quarter, I want to focus on finishing my 5K speed up program. So getting faster at running my 5K. I want to get good at creating YouTube videos and TikTok videos. Instagram can stay behind a little bit. First, get good at creating content for 2 platforms and then expand later on. I want to try to get 2 tattoos this quarter, and I want to learn how to ski and how to knit. Because knitting, it's still winter, I want to knit a sweater, and if I start doing that in the summer, there's not really a time to wear that sweater. So that's why I picked that hobby to start out with first. And there you have it. That is everything I want to do this year, everything I want to focus on this quarter. And if you are interested in how I planned all of that out into a month, yesterday I posted on my YouTube channel my plan with me for January, where I show you how I implement all of these goals into a monthly planning strategy. So if that is something that you're interested in, I will link it down below and you can go check it out. Otherwise, if you like this type of content, you can check out my TikTok or my YouTube channel or my podcast. If you are on YouTube, I will link them all in the description box. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to this channel. And otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye bye.